Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 28 of the ADHD Gamer. I am one of your hosts, Mike McMahon, and as always, joined by Mr. Jonathan Franklin.
What's up, ADHD gamers?
What's up, sir? How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Went and had a little abuelos tonight. If for you people that are not from down here or possibly not know what abuelos is, it is a high-class white people Mexican restaurant, and it is wonderful.
It is.
It is pretty wonderful if you're from...
Straight up for white people.
Yeah, but
rich white people.
But it's great, though. Oh, yeah, it's expensive. That shit's expensive as fuck, but it was so good. Had me a raspberry margarita.
Ooh.
And had me they have the best queso that I've ever had. And what else did I have? Had me a burrito, dude. That burrito, audio listeners, you can't see the burrito. I swear to God, it'd be that big. It was kind of like, you ever been to what's the place in Winter Haven that used to be by Publix? Now it's in front of Legoland.
Azteca
has a burrito that's about that size, and it was the same. It was, dude, that's my favorite thing in the world to get from there is a fucking giant ass fat burrito. So
get them smothered chimneys, man.
Oh my
God,
that sounds
fucking
amazing.
Shit.
No, that chimney I had from Urban Cantina, that was the best chimney I've ever had in my whole life.
Oh man, Orlando, brother. Every time I go there, I'm like, I gotta stop at Urban Cantina.
That's Tampa.
Oh yeah, you're right, Tampa. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Urban people, if you don't know, if you live in the Central Florida area, if you come in to visit Central Florida, if you love Spanish food, there's a little place called Urban Cantina in downtown Tampa. It's very close to the Tampa Bay Convention Center. You should go check that out. It is amazing. We happened to check it out after Tempe Comic Con a couple years ago, kind of just needing something to eat and trying to find something, and we decided we didn't want the normal McDonald's and shit, so we stopped in there, and it was definitely not regrettable. It was amazing.
It definitely beats con prices at that crappy food that you get there. Oh my God.
Fucking chili dog for fucking $9 or something. That chimney I had, dude, was fucking fat. Oh my God, that chimney I had was fat, and it was covered in queso. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah.
Oh
dude,
God.
The last time I went there, I got some like Asian taco thing that was small as shit for $15 fucking at TampaCon. So I was like, never gonna do that again.
Nope,
I'm
never
just gonna
again.
leave.
Yeah, definitely. So let me hop back. Let's hop back in the show, people. So, yeah, we love Spanish food here down here in Central Florida. But guys, if you really don't know what we are, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna say this every time. I'm not sure why you'd be listening to starting on this episode, but that's okay if you are. Thank you and enjoy it. So we are the ADHD Gamer. We're just a video game and pop culture, pretty much news, kind of review, whatever you want to say, podcast, more news than review, but it's just a little fun time. I know some podcasts make money off stuff. We don't actually, probably lose money off stuff if anything, but it's still fun for us. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This week, guys, will be our Games of the Decade show. So what I have asked Jonathan and myself to do is we have went through the years 2010 until 2019, and we have selected 5 games from every year that we really enjoyed. Some of these could be really bad games that we just really enjoyed. Some of them could be the best games of all time. This is not going to be an industry thing to where, like I said, some of these could be like really bad games. Like I'll give you a heads up. In 2012, I have a game in there that was reviewed very badly, and people hated on it. I loved everything about it, just because of, I think I finished it in maybe 16 hours and loved every single bit of it. So just giving you that heads up. This is a personal, if you will. It's a personal thing. So we'll start with 2010 and we'll work on to 11, 12, and so on and so forth. They're not numbered in any way, John, like I told you before. We'll just talk about, what we're going to do, guys, is John will go through his 5 and I'll go through my 5, and then we'll just talk about that year for a little bit. So this will be a little bit of a longer show, so stick with us. All right, so if you think you're ready, John, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. No, I'm not ready. Guys, if you want to check us out anywhere, you can check us out on youtube.com/ADHD Gamer Podcast, facebook.com/ADHD Gamer Podcast. You can also check us out on Instagram at ADHD Gamer Podcast, and check us out on for your audio listening needs on all podcast services around the globe. I think I'm good now. I've plugged everything. Oh, no, I haven't. I have one more thing to plug. Our last episode will be filmed tonight our last episode of season 1 will be filmed tonight of The Podalorian, which is our Mandalorian spoiler cast. Check us out there. Our last, tonight will be about Chapter 8 Redemption, is it called, John?
Redemption, yep.
Redemption, okay. It was a wonderful episode. If you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out. We won't talk about it here, but on the 7th episode of The Podalorian, right? Yeah, we only did 7 because we did 2 episodes in one. So our 7th episode of The Podalorian. So we're really excited also because season 2 was announced the other day by Jon Favreau in fall of 2020, and which means we will have a season 2 of that. So that's pretty cool. All right, well, since we're on there, John, let's go ahead and hop in. You start with 2010, man. Go ahead and hop in with the greatest games a personal greatest games of the decade. What were 5 games that you enjoyed of 2010?
Okay. All right, well, I'm just going to go down the list, I guess.
That's fine, no problem.
Start out with Mass Effect 2, Metro 2033, Alan Wake, Halo Reach, and Splinter Cell Conviction. Okay.
I got Mass Effect 2, Bioshock 2, Metro 2033, Red Dead Redemption, and Fallout New Vegas.
I didn't realize that was out there.
Yeah, it was out in 2010. I remember I was living at my best friend's mom's house, and I went and bought this. And I also bought Medal of Honor Warfighter for some reason. And like I said, that game, in all honesty, Medal of Honor Warfighter almost made it onto this list, and that game got rated at like a 3 by IGN. Like, it was, I beat that game on every difficulty, and I had a blast doing it. And the soundtrack was Linkin Park soundtrack, I think, and I had so much fun with it, and I almost put it on the list, and I didn't. So let's talk a little.
Was that the first one that they did, the new fighting system,
yes.
The new way of fighting?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the first one. It was the first one they did the tier 1 bearded guy kind of look kind of thing. It was the first one they had done in the new age, if you will, because it
was more realistic fighting style.
It was supposed to be, for 2010, and it was good. I enjoyed it. A lot of people hated it. I enjoyed it. So 2010, John, let's go ahead and, you said Mass Effect 2 for your first one?
For sure, Mass Effect 2.
I think we have 2 games in common. You have Mass Effect 2 in 2033, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I got. I got those 2. Okay.
Mass Effect 2, man, like, that might be my favorite in the series of the Mass Effects, just because they really went super deep into all the lore. Everything was chaos, It was just an overall good game, man.
I agree.
One of the best stories that we have in gaming, other than, Mass Effect 3's ending.
Yeah, what's funny about that ending of Mass Effect 3 is, I will probably end up talking about this a little bit later, but Mass Effect 3's ending was like, they had to go in and change that ending because how many people bitched about it, and they went in and changed it and put out like a patch for it, and so the ending is totally different from probably when I beat it. I had to go on. I went on YouTube, so I wasn't replaying that game. So I went on because it's so long. I went on YouTube and watched the new ending, and it was way better than the ending that I got. But Mass Effect 2, I agree. Mass Effect 2 is probably the best in the series for me as well. I loved everything about it, especially not having elevator load times, because those elevator load times in Mass Effect 1 was horrible. This is a game I actually got one of my friends on. At the time, my friend was a drug dealer, and I told him to go buy this game. He asked me if he could sell corn in this game, which corn, and I'm putting up quotation marks for you audio listeners. Corn was street lingo for weed down here in the FLA at that time. So I told him yes, and he went and bought the game, and then he liked it. And I was like, okay, well, you're welcome. Even though I lied to you, you're welcome. Yeah, but the Mass Effect 2 is wonderful. The storyline was great. I think they improved on a bunch of stuff. They improved on like your powers. They improved on your companions. Of course, I never took Garrus out of my party.
Yeah.
Garrus was my boy. I swear to God, I really hope their next Mass Effect game is like a Garrus backstory. I've loved that. Or if they don't make a fucking comic about it, I'll be excited about that because they still make Mass Effect comics. It's kind of one of the things.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, I do believe so. No, I did not. There's by the way, I meant to tell you, there's a new Doom movie out on Netflix. I don't know if I told you that or not.
Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't got a chance to watch it yet either. We were talking about Doom earlier. That's the only reason I was thinking about it. But no, I have all the Mass Effect books actually back here behind me on my bookshelf. I have the actual thick ass novels. I have the whole set. I've just never sat down and read them, so I'm probably gonna download the audiobooks and listen to the audiobooks.
I have listened to the audiobooks, and they are like, especially the ones that there's one specific character that they kind of go through a series on, and those are really good books, especially for like backstory and stuff. Everything's really good. I super enjoyed it. Each one of them.
Yeah, I mean, in Mass Effect 2, who was your favorite companion? Hold on one second. It's been so long since I've played Mass Effect 2. Besides Garrus, obviously, yours is probably Garrus as well. Hold on one second. I'll give you a list of companions. All right, so Mass Effect 2 companions. You got Garrus, Grunts, Jack, Jacob, Kasumi was a DLC. Legion, of course. I remember Legion real good. Miranda, Mordin, Samara, Tali, Thane, Zayed was a DLC.
Dude, I was like so many good ones.
I loved Garrus and I loved Jack. I actually ended up romancing Jack, and I did 2 playthroughs. I romanced Jack, and then I also romanced which, if you people haven't played, but Jack was this like bald-headed chick with a bunch of tattoos. And then I believe I did 2 playthroughs of Mass Effect. I remember Mass Effect 2. I did one of Renegade and of course one Paragon. I did Tali Zora as my I did Jack as my like Renegade, and Tali Zora as my Paragon. And I had a really fun time with it. BioWare's, everybody remember, this was BioWare's like prime. This was their years, man. So,
dude, there were so many good characters, and I switched up a lot, because Jax, when I got Jax, I love Jax. I love fucking tattooed girl. Like, you're gonna be and she has crazy ass powers.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and forth on Garrus a lot. But I loved the Korgan, the fucking grunt, and I did romance Jax, and Tali Zora was in my group a lot.
I was gonna do Miranda one time. Mm-hmm. I decided not to. Rex wasn't in this one, was he?
No, he wasn't in, but he was my favorite. Like, one of my favorites.
Who was the who was the Krogan? Was it Grunt? Was Grunt the Krogan?
Yeah, Grunt. He was like a test tube baby or some shit. Like,
yes. Okay. He was born in the lab. That's what it was. I do remember that one. Okay. And then Mordin.
Samara was pretty cool though.
Samara was pretty cool. And now that I'm looking at pictures of them, I can put like 2 and 2 together of who they are.
Yeah.
With the dude, that last mission of Mass Effect 2, just talking about it, and like you got to pretty much put everybody in the right places or everybody will die, kind of thing. It's pretty fucking cool, man. It was a blast. I really want to go back and play this game, but I don't want to spend that much time on it.
Dude, I was literally thinking about that earlier today when I was making this, or not today, but yesterday when I was making this list, and thinking, man, it was such a good game. I need to go back and play it. It's too fucking long.
It's way too
fucking long to play.
It's so
long. That's what turned. When I picked up Mass Effect 1, it turned me off because the game was so effing long, and it took a little bit of time to get invested into it. And I put it down for a long time, probably over a year. And then Mass Effect 2 came out. I'm like, all right, I'm going to dedicate some time, try to play it. Fell in love again. The whole story is just amazing. So
who was the other your companions in the Liara? Who I was thinking about. Liara Tassoni was who I was thinking about. And then,
I got like no audio from you. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Liara Tisona was who I was thinking about. Liara.
Yeah.
Liara was in that one. That was Legion was cool as well. Jack
I used Legion a lot at the end.
I did. Garrus. Garrus was my dog, man. I loved Garrus. I couldn't.
Looking at this full spectrum of people, I'm like, man, I used a bunch of these fucking characters.
So did I. This makes me and this is what makes me hate Andromeda even more. Like, I loved Andromeda. Don't get me wrong. I personally actually liked Andromeda, but it's what makes me hate it because 1 and 2 and 3 were so good about the companion system and their things you did. But yeah, that was a blast. So that's that. Let's, before we hop too far into Mass Effect 2, Metro 2033. You have that one as well.
Metro, yeah. I got Metro in there.
So Metro 2033 is actually technically a book by Dmitry Glukhovsky. We have both read that book since playing this game. The book lives up to the game. It's amazing. It's really hard.
It's actually better than the game.
Of course it is. The book's a little bit harder to get into because of how much Russian there is in it. The cities and stuff, and trying to pay attention and play along, and maybe look on a map of where stuff is and that kind of thing. It's kind of rough with that, but you can get through that. It's a blast. But 2033 was a blast of a game. I had a really fun time with it. That's really. I mean, if nobody's played it, you should really go back and play Metro 2033.
It's probably one of the better of the 3 games.
I think it's better than Last Light. Yeah. Well, no, I think it's better than Exodus. I honestly think Last Light's my favorite, and the only reason I think Last Light is my favorite is because Last Light kind of went on that, okay, we have something here with 2033, and then they just added more fun stuff to it, and it was a blast. Exodus wasn't horrible. Like, no. I liked Exodus. I really did. I actually really liked it. I really liked playing it. I just didn't like where they went story wise. I didn't like how, what's the like what we've talked about this before about what Exodus didn't have. I forgot what we talked about. Oh, the fuck. I just played this goddamn game. What are they calling the alien type race?
Oh God!
It's the children. Is it the children?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe they called it like the child for the little one. No, I don't know.
Metro Alien.
We're gonna have to Google that now.
Okay.
But
Metro Alien.
Yeah, they kind of changed it from the books a little bit, and I don't know. It was kind of strange.
Dark ones. They call them the dark ones.
The dark ones, yeah.
So what pissed me off about Exodus was the fact which that's a game that came out this year, and I'm like, oh shit, that did come out this year. They showed really not much to little, literally almost nothing about the dark ones at all. And or was it they showed the dark ones, or was it they showed the dark ones in Exodus, and shit, I don't remember. There was something about the dark ones that I did not like in Exodus, and I think it was the fact of the matter.
They left out most of it because
that's what it was.
What they did in the previous game was pretty much destroy them. Or kill them off, or they either killed off, or they went off and did their own thing and said "fuck you" to humanity.
Right, but then there was a story. They had a couple playthroughs. They had a couple endings, and one of the endings was they came back, or you didn't kill, or they didn't die. So the thing is, like, how do you not play off that ending as well? Do you just play off one ending and not say anything? That was the whole weird thing. I did like how Exodus played. I like how Exodus ended. I pretty much ended the series basically, and I love it, dude. It was a blast of a game. I didn't like where they went story wise to an extent. We talked about this on our earlier show. I
will say this, going back to the books a little bit, is I felt like I played the game and then I read the books, and the books actually made the game richer.
Yeah,
for me,
agreed.
Story wise, which a lot of people would say, oh well. Just like movies, read the book, it ruins the fucking movie for you.
No, not at all.
I disagree.
For me, it's one of those things to where if I read the books before I play the game or watch a movie or watch a TV show, it brings it more for me because now I can put a face to what I've been hearing for 35 or 40 hours. Like I talk about all the time how I just got done reading all 8 Witcher books. I probably spent over close to 200 hours listening to all 8 Witcher books. And now since The Witcher is out on Netflix, I can put faces. I can see these storylines and be like, oh, I read that. That's awesome. I'm loving this. It's great. You know, you could always do that in the video games, of course, but I think it's better when you can see it in real life for me for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. So 2033 people, go check that out. What's another one for you, John? Because I think the next 3 of ours are different.
I did Alan Wake.
Okay.
Alan Wake. I know you love Alan Wake just as much as I do.
I like Alan Wake. I didn't play it till this year though. My first time ever playing Alan Wake was this year. Yes.
I was super excited. I bought this day one, and I had not played any Alan Wake games prior to that or anything that involved Alan Wake. I just saw the trailers for it on E3, and it was literally just, this game looks cool as fuck.
Wasn't this the first Alan Wake game though? There wasn't any.
It was. There were older games based on with Alan Wake, but they weren't like specifically called Alan Wake. I forget what they're called, honestly. And they were PC games and stuff like that. I think there was one Super Nintendo. I'd have to look it up. But this was the first time I ever delved into Alan Wake and anything involving that kind of thing, and I fell in love with it. Like, I was worried about the flashlight mechanics and stuff. I thought, man, I'm not gonna like this. I'm not gonna like the that it doesn't have really a gunplay or anything. It's gonna be stupid. No, and it got a lot of bashing too back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did.
I fucking loved it, man. Like, every minute it was exciting. It kept me on my fucking edge. It was just good stuff. So I'm trying to, as I'm speaking, trying to look up what I said, and I can't find anything. But yeah.
All right. Well, mine is my other one. My next one would have been BioShock 2. BioShock 2 is the this is another hated. Can you not hear me?
Oh, yeah, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of the hold on, John. Actually, I think I know why you can't hear me. I'll try to talk. So a lot of BioShock 2's problem was kind of the same thing as of why. So John, it's going to sound a little bit worse for you.
No,
obviously,
that's good.
I know what I did wrong now. So BioShock 2 was actually hated. Well, I don't want to say it was hated by people, but it was disliked more than BioShock 1. BioShock 1 was I like your Rick and Morty mug, by the way.
Thank you.
BioShock 1 was a masterpiece. It was kind of a horror, a thriller, if you will. I loved BioShock 1, I love 2, and actually I like Infinite better than all of them. I'm really weird for that, I know. But Infinite had a lot to do with like different things like race. The ending was great. I loved it. I did like being under in Rapture though. I did like that. BioShock 2 is fun. That's about all I can say. The remasters are a blast. They are still playable. Go back and play them. They still hold up to this day. Get the remasters if you want to do that. What you got for your fourth one, John?
What I got from a fourth one, I have Halo Reach.
Halo Reach almost made it onto my list.
Halo Reach was such a good game as far as story, and I liked how they kind of took away from the whole Master Chief thing, and they kind of focused more on these drop troops and shit. And it surprisingly, they added a lot of things that the other Halo games didn't have, and as far as story mechanics. And I really, really liked it. I really enjoyed everything about it. The team-based thing was fun, and in general, the story was a lot better than I expected, and I think that was probably it.
Yeah,
for me.
Reach was a blast of a game. I also liked how they went away from Master Chief and kind of showed you the lives of these other people. So that was really cool to see. And at that time, Halo needed something that was not Chief. Like, you could tell Halo was starting to fall. It wasn't like bad, but it was starting to, okay, this storyline's beginning to be the same. Y'all need to take a couple years and actually think about what the fuck you want to do. And then Reach, and then what, ODST came out. ODST was and then Reach came out, and Reach was great. Reach has actually just made it onto the Master Chief Collection on Xbox Game Pass right now. Best deal in gaming. Yeah, Reach was a blast.
It was a great game, and for what it was, like you said, they took it in a little bit of different direction, and it made it awesome. So, I mean, I liked ODST as well.
I did like ODST,
but Reach was definitely superior. That was really cool to see and really cool to do.
I agree.
What about you, buddy?
Red Dead Redemption.
I have never played Red Dead Redemption.
You never played the original Red Dead Redemption?
No, brother.
It is a blast of a game, but it's long as fuck. When you think it's going to be over, it's not. You might not even be halfway through yet. There's a spot in that game where I remember playing it and being like, oh man, this was a really good game. And it's like, oh wait, there's more. And I mean, you just kept going. So Red Dead Redemption is, of course, technically the sequel, I guess, because Red Dead Redemption 2's story is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption. Basically, you fall into John Marston, who is in Red Dead Redemption 1, who basically is one of the only survivors of, I don't want to say the only, but one of the only survivors of Red Dead Redemption 2's storyline, which happens before Red Dead Redemption 1. Blast of a game. Rockstar made a thing, and it was wonderful. Just a really long fucking game. Some good cowboy riding there. Some good horsey riding.
There was a game that came out around that time that was a Western, and
Call of Juarez?
Call of Juarez. And
first person, right? Yeah, it was first person.
Yeah. I like half enjoyed it, and I think it kind of turned me off for all Western type games.
It's actually on GOG right now for like $3. I almost bought it the other day because I actually like that game too. I like the first person Westerns because I like the revolvers, and I like using that stuff. I like that old stuff because nobody's gonna be jumping around doing like these exoskeleton shits and that, you know.
Right.
So I really like that. But yeah, I remember that one. Red Dead also had a fun little like the sharpshooter experience. It was just a blast, man. I loved it, and it probably had some of the best horse riding there was. I loved it. Next for you, last one of 2010.
Last one of 2010. This was hard because I was looking at like Mafia 2 and Fable 3 was not awesome, but it was still a Fable game. But I chose Splinter Cell Conviction.
Okay.
And Splinter Cell Conviction was like the first time, maybe it wasn't the first time, but it was around the first time that they went away from that. You have to sneak around. You have to do this. You have to do all that bullshit. It was after Double Agent, and it was more action-packed.
It's still weird to me that Conviction was out, and it was out before the Xbox One and PS4 generation, and we still have not got a Splinter Cell on this generation. They skipped a whole generation.
Yeah.
And we're going to get one on the next generation, I have a feeling, but it's just weird. They skipped a whole generation of consoles before they brought out a new Splinter Cell.
I really hope so, because especially if they do it with today's technology and whatever they're fucking giving us, it could be a real badass game, because it was a badass game before.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the first one was amazing. We're gonna have to speed this up. We're already 30 minutes into the show. Jesus.
Oh well, we were bullshitting in the beginning.
Yeah,
so.
It's true. So my last one is Fallout New Vegas. I'm a Fallout lover. I'm a old Bethesda lover. I love Fallout New Vegas. New Vegas was the first one they brought. Was actually made by Obsidian. Of course, they had factions in it. If you can tell, Fallout New Vegas and The Outer Worlds are almost the same game to an extent. Made by the same creators. And yeah, man, it's just a blast of a game. You should go play it if you haven't.
For sure.
All right, let's move on to 2011. What are your five?
This was a big year for games, man.
This
like
was
I
a
had
big year.
huge fucking list for this. But I kind of narrowed it down to Skyrim, Star Wars: The Old Republic, Gears 3, Dead Space 2, and Dead Island. And there was a lot of other shit on there.
Okay, we have one together.
Really?
Portal 2.
Good.
The Witcher 2: Assassin of Kings. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Skyrim, and Batman Arkham City. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's just go ahead and run through the 5 games, John, and talk a little bit about them each time. So you go ahead and start with your 5 games. Talk a little bit about each one.
Okay. Skip Skyrim.
Yeah, let's talk about Skyrim together.
Okay. So I did Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Okay.
And Star Wars: The Old Republic, just being a huge Star Wars fan.
That's the MMO, correct?
That is the MMO. Right. And it's the only MMO I've really ever gotten into. Obviously because it's Star Wars. But man, they really fucking did a great job of creating all these cinematics and really keeping it relevant throughout the years. Like, you go and look at Star Wars: The Old Republic and just YouTube their cinematic scenes, some of their best, where Darth Bane like crashes a fucking ship into the Jedi Temple and just destroys a bunch of fucking people. Or, you know, you've got the one scene of the twins and all these beautiful cinematics that I really love and expanded the story in a great way. Gears 3. I really love the Gears series, especially the first few, and that ended that kind of arc. And
was supposed to end the whole series, I believe. It was supposed to be the last game. Yeah.
It was supposed to end the whole series, but obviously they can't.
Yeah, obviously that didn't happen.
But that, I enjoyed that. That was a good place to do it. Dead Space 2, not as good as Dead Space 1, but they did make some improvements here and there. I feel like the story was better in Dead Space 1, but Dead Space 2 did add some things and it still was spooky. I left Dead Space 3 off of all my lists, or whatever list it was supposed to come on, because that game was not fun.
You mean the more superior Dead Space?
The Dead Space 3, more superior, but not. And then Dead Island. I spent a lot of hours playing Dead Island, and I thought resource management and everything in it was fucking cool. The fact that you could just board up some bases and move along in these storylines, and visually, was a great fucking game. It was a great fucking game. I really hope that when eventually they come out with Dead Island 2, that it is even close to as good as the first one.
And then the creators left that and went and made Dying Light, and Dying Light was more superior than Dead Island. I love Dying Light. Dying Light was a blast of a game. Mm-hmm. So moving on to mine, Portal 2. Portal 2 was just, there's not much to say. It was better than Portal 1, made by Valve. This game's wonderful. Little puzzle game, but had a fun story. Don't trust the cake. It's kind of where that came from. The cake is a lie. I love that game. It's a blast of a little, and it's on everything now, I believe, if I remember right. Besides like Switch and stuff, but blast of a game. Go play it. The Witcher 2: Assassin of Kings. Me and John talked about this before the show. Witcher is I've talked about it multiple times, my favorite series. The Witcher 2, actually, I didn't play this in 2011. I played The Witcher 2 last year, but I'm putting it in there because it's, of course, released in 2011. Game's a blast. It's about a 25-30 hour game, and it moves that story along. Moves Geralt's story along. You don't really see Ciri at all in that. But you get a lot of backstory, and you get a lot of things of what he's doing after the books. So it's a blast. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. This one hits me kind of rough.
That was almost on my list.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 didn't hit me rough. What it did was, what I mean by, I meant to say it hits me in a special place, because I got off work. I went to the midnight release. I picked it up. After I picked it up, I went home, went to sleep, woke up, and flew to Missouri to meet one of my best friends for the first time, who actually I met on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I met him on the game, and he lived in Missouri, and I went up there to meet him, my buddy Mike, and this is the first game that came out when I went up there, and I played it the whole time with him, and we loved it. Blast of a game, though. Campaign, but I'm just kidding. It was actually a really good campaign. Batman Arkham City, another Arkham game made by Rocksteady, and it's a blast of a game. I mean, Arkham City is probably better than all of them. I liked Arkham City better than the rest of them, Arkham Knight and all. Blast of a game. Once again, go check that one out. That one's really good, probably, especially with all the DLC and how big the map is and how big Gotham is and all the good stuff. It's a blast. Let's talk a little bit about Skyrim together. So Skyrim to me is like Game of the Year material for. I believe it actually got Game of the Year for that year. It should have. It was kind of rough not to give it to them because the game is so fucking big. Think about it. This year, 2011, we're 9 years into Skyrim, right? And they're still coming out on different consoles. I mean, it just came out on Switch not too long ago. That's why. I mean, you always see Bethesda joke about it being on like Alexa, and actually, you can play Skyrim on Alexa to this day. I gotta watch when I say that name because the Alexa's sitting right here beside me. But yeah, that's exactly what I'll hear, and this bitch is loud. Yeah, it's a blast of a game, man. I mean, the game is great. I probably have 250, 300 hours in that game, and
easy.
You still find stuff. I mean, that's the cool thing about it. Like you think you've done everything, and then you run upon something. You know, it's kind of one of them things.
For sure. Yeah, they kept adding to it. They kept giving quality. Some of them were very quality DLC for each one. And the fact that it's still going strong, and we were literally talking about this game multiple years in a row, you and me both, talking about, oh, I'm playing Skyrim again. Oh, I'm playing, I bought it on this. I bought it on that. You know, that definitely puts it out there. So, for sure.
Yep.
Like it.
2012.
This was kind of a weak year. So I had Assassin's Creed 3, great. Sleeping Dogs, Mass Effect 3, Halo 4, and Black Ops 2. I wanted to put Resident Evil 6 in there, but we all know it fucking sucked. So
correct. Mine is Borderlands 2. Diablo 3 came out that year. I thought Diablo 3 was my last midnight release that I ever went to, but it's actually Fallout 4. Mass Effect 3, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. This
no idea what that is.
What?
Nope.
You don't know what Kingdoms of Amalur is? So I'll have to explain this to you. And then the game that I said that got really bad ratings that I love so much. Remember, this is a personal, guys. Is Lollipop Chainsaw. Lollipop Chainsaw. I loved every single bit of that game. I had a blast with it. Yeah. So starting with Kingdoms of Amalur real quick. So it was made in originally by Curt Schilling. So do you know who Curt Schilling is?
No.
He was an MLB pitcher. He's probably one of the best pitchers to ever play in the MLB. Curt Schilling started 38 Studios. 38 Studios worked with, and then so this game was made by 38 Studios and published by Big Huge Games. Curt Schilling owned 38 Studios, and this is the only game that was made by them because they went bankrupt after that. This is probably one of the best RPGs ever made, and it is a blast. And you really gotta go check it out. Like the game, I'm telling you, man, the game is amazing. It's probably harder to get into now. I loved it. It's a fun little cartoony thing. But it's still a really fun game. I enjoyed every single bit of it.
It is currently 75% off on Steam.
You can get that game for like $4.99 all the time.
Sure.
Especially like through EA and different things. Yeah, you can get it for like $4.99. I very well recommend it. And even if you don't put freaking 100 hours into it like I did, go into it for like 30 minutes and just see if you like it. I actually think it's on my Steam if you want to go check it out. Could be $4.99
right now on Steam.
It could be on my Steam actually. So yeah, there's that. Mass Effect 3. We'll talk about Mass Effect 3 together. Diablo 3. Diablo 3. I don't have much to say about besides the fact of when the game came out, it was bad. They had the real money auction house. I was really excited about this. I went and bought a brand new computer for this, even though that computer sucked pure dickhole. But I wanted to play it. That's how bad I wanted to play this game. The game was just fun. Borderlands 2. I don't really think I have to explain Borderlands 2. I do not have Kingdoms of Amalur. I thought I had it. So I don't really have to say much about Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 was better than Borderlands 1. It's still more Borderlands, but it was so fucking fun. I loved it. And then on to Lollipop Chainsaw. Lollipop Chainsaw is a hack and slash. Were very, very, very sexual game. They definitely sold on the sex in that game. You're this cheerleader from. I always see it all the time because there's always cosplayers all the time. Give me a second here, and I will tell you. I just loved it. I remember beating this game probably. I might have been like 12 or 13 hours. I played it in one sitting.
Just jacking the hell out of it.
Just actually no. Actually, somebody might have been jacking me at that time while playing it, if I remember right. But we won't talk about that. So, the chick's name is Juliet Starling, which she's voiced by Tara Strong. This game's amazing.
Oh God, Tara Strong.
I love, yeah, and dude, it's like it's definitely like that super blondish cheerleader. Yeah. Oh, it's a blast, and it's a San Romero, the San Romero High School, and the fact of she carries her boyfriend's severed head on her side. I don't know if you remember this at all. Yeah, dude, the game's amazing. Like, I love it.
Yeah. Well, with quality talent like Tara Strong, you know.
Yeah, hey, that's quality. I love Tara Strong, actually.
Dude, she's great.
So awesome. Talk about yours, and we'll talk about Mass Effect 3 together.
Okay. Assassin's Creed 3. We'll start with that one. That was like I wasn't sure I was going to like that because, you know, it takes place in the woods, and colonial times is really not my favorite time of any period in our life. I never find that shit interesting. I think people are stupid when they do Civil War reenactments, but the Native American aspect caught me because I've got a little Native American in me, and
very tame.
Not in the bad way. And everything they did with it, like, it was so different from the other things, but it was the same. You know, the fact that you could climb in the trees and jump back and forth and deal with the animals and hunt the animals and stuff like that. Everything was really cool across the board, and I actually enjoyed it, especially because they added all these weird elements, you know, into it that seemed a little more modern. Sleeping Dogs. Did you play Sleeping Dogs?
I played a little bit of Sleeping Dogs. I actually want to go back to that. That was actually one of mine that I wanted to go back to before all these games came out.
Sleeping Dogs, you can equate it to the Grand Theft Auto of China. Okay. You know, they got the triads and all this other different shit, and really the story, like, is what got me because it was super engaging. I really loved how you were kind of working through the ranks, and you're doing all these different things with different people, and that are part of this like mafia in China or whatever. And the explosions were great. Everything that they set up in there was, it was just an awesome game. I highly recommend that if you want to go back and play a game, you definitely pick up Sleeping Dogs, especially from this year.
I believe I had it from a couple years ago from Games with Gold, I think, gave it out.
That's when I played it. I didn't play it in 2012. I played it when they gave it away for Games of Gold.
Okay.
And that was, I don't know, that a couple of years, 2015 maybe.
Yeah, probably longer than that.
Yeah, I know it was on the Xbox 360, and I picked it up, and I was like, oh, it's a free game, and I don't got no fucking money right now, so let me play this, and I fell in love. Like, the whole thing was great. Black Ops 2, that was kind of, I mean, it was a good game. The story I felt like was better than Black Ops 1, plus I think it included a zombies type of thing in it. I can't remember. that was just kind of filler because there wasn't a lot of like high quality games this year. A lot of great games in that year. And then Halo 4, which we got to see that Master Chief's still alive and he's still kicking and
he's still there.
Oh, he is. Oh, great. But it's, despite the fact that they resurrected the dead, I felt like it was a good game. It had a good story to it, so I ain't gonna hate on it. It was definitely, that's when they added the Forge, I think, as well.
Which Halo is this?
Halo 4.
Halo 4 came out then? Yeah, it did. Okay, yeah, it did. I'm thinking of 5 because 5 came out on the Xbox One. Okay.
True. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the first year they did the Forge, and that was a blast. Like, I played so much with my friends, creating maps and just blowing each other up with rocket launchers randomly. Mm-hmm. So, and that's pretty much it. I had Resident Evil 6 and Prototype 2 kind of sitting on the back burner.
I love Prototype. I never played Prototype 2, but I love Prototype, the original.
I do love Prototype, the original. It was really good.
I was in Minnesota when I played that, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, Mass Effect 3.
Yeah. Despite the ending, and I didn't even hate the ending.
No, I didn't. I didn't either.
I didn't hate the ending. I thought that was a very interesting way to take it. People lost their mind, and I remember just going like, what's the big deal? Who gives a shit? Like, all right, that's great that it ended this way. And it's not my favorite ending of all time, but it was still a good ending.
Yeah, it was still an ending. Awesome. It was kind of underwhelming, if you will.
Yeah.
The game was still fun, and the ending was still good. It was just underwhelming.
The only thing I was irritated about was it didn't feel like the alternate endings of all this that I've fucking been building for, because they did promise a lot. They did promise that all your decisions basically from the first game up until the second and third, would affect your overall ending in Mass Effect 3. That's what they kind of kept saying. And pretty much all the decisions, that didn't fucking matter. And they went in, you could basically do it all with the last game. Didn't fucking matter what you did. So that kind of sucked. But overall, the game was a fucking great game. You can't discount it. It is one of the best RPG stories you can come across. So it's definitely on the list.
Yeah, this was one of my favorites. It's hard to not say that you liked Mass Effect 3 just because of a small thing. Well, I don't want to say a small thing, but a bigger thing. But the ending was still good. It wasn't horrible. I loved the Mass Effect series, so it was more Mass Effect, and that's what I loved about it. And I remember when this came out, like going to get this at midnight release, there was so many people there at the GameStop right there in Armadale, and I loved everything about this game. A lot of people did, and that's why there was so many people there. It was just a blast of a game. I think, like I said, I want to go back to it all the time, and I just don't have the time to do it.
Everything that led up to the ending in the game, so filled with, drama and excitement and great fucking storytelling. This is a prime example. This game could have been fucking shit graphically.
Yep.
And the story would have made it worth it. Period. End of story.
Agreed. And once again, you had really good companions. You had good companion quests. You had good story quests. You had good storyline. Just everything about the story was great. And it's. Like I said, once again, I really wish I could go back to it. I just don't have the time. There's too much to do, and I just don't have the time to do it.
It is definitely one of those games that you want to complete all the little side quests and all that shit. You don't want to complete the game without doing that, and that makes it a long-ass game.
And it makes it fun.
This might be a long-ass game on it, period.
It makes it more fun. It just makes it... it just makes it fun. It makes it a game that you want to keep playing. The especially with side quests.
For sure.
2013.
2013. So I'm sure this one's on both of our lists. Last of Us. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. GTA 5. Metro Last Light. Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Nope.
Nope. I had a few others that were kind of dropped down, but like Splinter Cell Blacklist, Dead Space 3, no, and Outlast.
You mean the more superior Dead Space?
Yeah, it's a more superior Dead Space. Okay. So they say.
I'll tell you what, go ahead and do Zelda first, and then I will do mine. Mine is GTA 5, The Last of Us, Metro Last Light, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and Bioshock Infinite. So go ahead and talk about Zelda. I'll talk about Bioshock, and then we can talk about the rest together.
Okay. This was like released on the DS, and man, I was just like, oh great, another Zelda game. I love Zelda. Been saying that since the beginning of this fucking podcast, and it was just a fresh take in an old world.
I didn't play that game until this year.
Did you like it though?
Oh, I loved Link Between Worlds.
Yeah. The back and forth mechanic was fucking cool. It made the puzzles more richer.
Yep.
It definitely took from that A Link to the Past world, and they just expanded it and did all this great things for it. I just was like, oh, it's going to be another. Because before that, what was it, like Spirit Tracks and some of those other things that came out on DS that weren't like awesome, but they were Zelda games. So I didn't want to have any expectations, and I played it, and it's probably one of the better Zelda games that has been made, especially because it was on the DS. So,
okay, mine was Bioshock Infinite. This was released on the 360, PS3, whatever you had. Bioshock Infinite is just more Bioshock that was different. I mean, you were in this kind of city in the sky, if you will, called Columbia, and you were Booker DeWitt, and you were sent to go get Elizabeth, basically, for whoever you had debt with, and they were gonna kill all your debt if you went and got Elizabeth for them. And the ending of that game, I won't talk about it here, but the ending of that game was amazing. And they had so many different things with race and just different things that they hit in that game where it did hit you in a way, and it made you want to keep playing and see it to the end. And it pulled me in more than I think Bioshock and Bioshock 2 did. The weapons did that. The storyline did it. The enemies did it. Game was just amazing. I mean, I loved it. It was I think, who was the creative director on it? Ken Levine was the creative director on it, which I love Ken Levine. There's just so much more stuff on it that the game was a lot better than what people gave it, and it should have gotten, I don't want to say awards, but it should be talked about more than what people talk about it now. I mean, people were giving it, I'm pretty sure this game was actually, people were giving it 9s and 10s almost everywhere. I think, if I remember Game Informer giving this a 10 because it was on their cover story. It was one of the things where, like,
I remember that.
And I remember playing it and being like, man, it can't be that good. And it was because they were saying, yeah, it's better than Bioshock 1 and 2. I was like, oh shit. And then I loved it. I loved every single bit about it. So
I didn't say it was better than Bioshock 1 necessarily. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really great. I liked the way it was set up, all the different mechanics in it. The ending made me feel like I was tripping fucking balls.
Mm-hmm.
And it confused me for a little bit. Eventually, I kind of consolidated everything because the ending was what I predicted. But they did a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
that kind of threw me off for a little bit, and then I came back to it. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, we got to the real part of the ending. Got it, cool. It was just a little strange.
Right. All right, so let's do our 4 together here.
Okay.
Let's start with GTA 5.
It's a good fucking game, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you can say. I mean,
it's Grand Theft fucking Auto, man.
If once again, this is a Skyrim. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been put out on everything. I'm really surprised they haven't found a way to bring it to the Switch. because that would just be one more way of them
still going heavy.
That's the only way anybody's playing. Nobody's playing the single player anymore. I mean there might be some people, but I played the single player, and the storyline of the game was great. Like switching between Trevor, Michael, and Franklin, switching between all three of them, and you get in the different storylines. Of course, Trevor always being the fucking weird individual who's, you wake up and he's fucking butt ass naked, so you got to find clothes and shit.
I like how they made Franklin more of like the morally correct person in that game.
Yeah.
Like, one of the first times a black person is actually looked at as a really good person in a game. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say first time, but
no. I know what you mean. It's not first time, but it's more along the lines of you see how the African American race is treated in our country today.
Yeah.
And they're usually but in this game, Franklin, so he speaks well. He's showing that the race is not ignorant, if you will. I'm putting that in quotations for you audio people. It's not. The race is not ignorant, but because he's showing that he's actually a smart individual, and he's a very cool guy. I think Franklin's probably my favorite character in that game. Just playing with him and showing and doing like dumb shit with him, and of course, Trevor, of course, doing dumb shit with Trevor, and just the way you do stuff at the end. Yeah, the ending of that game is a blast. Yeah, man, GTA 5. Not much more you could say about it. Metro Last Light.
There's not much we can say more than what we said about 2033. It was just a good game. The whole premise behind the Dark Ones and all that stuff. The ending, because I finished the book before I finished the game, I was like, oh, the ending's a little different. All right, well, that's great.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the whole like seedy underbelly, the whole like Nazi-esque themes that they were going through, everything was a fucking blast. It's just another one of my favorite series.
Yeah, like I said, Last Light's my favorite out of the whole series. And Last Light did, once again, it just took stuff from their already good Metro 2033 and added more into this game, and it was just a blast of a game, man. I think I don't remember the last time I played it. It was probably a couple years ago, because I remember playing I did play it when it came out with the Redux though, and they had the remakes on Xbox One. I did play those, and I loved it, man. I remember why I loved this game so much. And then reading the books, this one's based off of 2034, and reading the books, just like you said earlier, made it feel more real. You get to see it made you appreciate the games more because you read the books. So it was it's definitely an awesome experience. Assassin's Creed 4,
Black Flag.
Yeah, let's go Black Flag.
This is, I really liked Origins, but it's probably my favorite Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed 4 or Assassin's Creed Black Flag is my favorite Assassin's Creed of all time because of the pirate situation. I am obsessed with pirates. I'm obsessed with that. I think that's why I love Uncharted 4 more than anything, because I'm obsessed with pirates. The pirate situation and just them doing, you're a pirate, and you're Edward in there, and I actually have him behind me, doing all that stuff in there and doing all the like the whaling, and you can hunt sharks, and you're diving under the water.
Ship battles.
The ship battles are amazing.
Fucking great, man.
It's definitely my favorite Assassin's Creed of all time. I will still
pirates.
Go back and play it when I'm randomly bored today.
I'm not a big fan of pirates that much, but this game was, it gave me that. In fact, I downloaded all the fucking pirate shanty songs because all the shanty songs were so fucking catchy. They did a great job with the voicing of it, and I would just driving down the road listen to the Sisters song or fucking What Would You Do with a Drunken Sailor, or whatever. The track was amazing. Even the God, what is it? I forget the overarching story. The the people from the past and all that other bullshit. That was really intriguing, and it was better than some of the other stuff that they've given us in the past. So yeah, overall, this is probably, I agree with you, is my favorite. Origins probably takes a close second.
I think I think Origins, and then like I love Odyssey. You know, Odyssey and Origins are right there together.
Yeah. I almost think they're like the same game.
Yeah, to me, I love it. I'm really hoping that we get. I'm really hoping that we get. I believe next year. Next year, I'm hoping next year we get the Assassin's Creed Ragnarok that was being talked about for a while, and that's probably gonna end up being my favorite. Like, because I love the Norse type stuff of that.
Vikings and shit.
Yes, I love it.
Badass too.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
There's nothing to say about this next game that we haven't said in multiple podcasts.
Correct. One of my top 5 games of all time, The Last of Us. This game hit me in some places I didn't think I could be hit in anymore. I cried a couple times. Like, this game's emotional. It hits you. It hits you in places that you didn't think you had.
Even in the DLC, it hits you.
Yeah.
Like, what the frick? That's the first time that a DLC has ever got me choked up.
Yeah.
Anything.
Agreed, especially with the 2 girls there, and then, you know, her friend Diane or whatever, and that hit me pretty hard. There's not much you can really say about this. If you haven't played The Last of Us, I'm not going to judge you, but I am also partially judging you. This game is
PS Now or whatever the fuck you need to do.
Dude, you can buy this game on the PS Store right now, I believe, for $4.99. I will actually do this on a camera right now. I will look this up for you just so you can check this game out. So John, talk to these people while I look this up for these people.
If you haven't played this game, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because I mean, I'm not going to say it, but this is one of the best games of all time. For me especially. And when the next one comes out, I'm gonna fucking piss my pants the entire time, because it's such a great game.
I agree with you. So let me see this. Buy down. People,
don't buy it. You already got it.
I already have it. Okay, so right now, people, you can get it for $14.99 because it's on the holiday sale. You can get this game for $5 at certain times, or $9.99. I believe if you go to GameStop, you can probably get this bad boy for $7 if you tried. I know you can get it for probably $9.99 at probably somewhere.
The remaster, at least.
Please play this game. I mean, I played this and it holds up very well, especially the ending of it where you see those giraffes, man. They walk by. It's just like, it's a realistic feeling of, wow, that's beautiful. After this fucked up world we live in, that is a beautiful sight to see. You know, I love that.
They go through so many different kinds of struggle and pulling. Mm-hmm. Like, any fear or emotional struggle you've ever fucking dealt with is felt with in this game in so many different ways. It's fucking diverse as shit.
Like I said, man, it hits you in places you would have never thought it would hit, that you yourself would be hit in, you know? And it's awesome. I love it.
Yelling at the fucking screen at fucking what's his fucking face for
Joel.
Yeah, Joel, for not being a good parent as I fucking want him to be, or him being a fucking dick about, you know, wanting to be with her. That I was literally yelling at the screen when at some of those moments. I'm like, Joel, you jackass, just do it. You know what I mean? Don't leave her, you know, blah, blah, blah. So that kind of shit.
It's a fun game. Go check it out.
Yeah. Great game.
2014, this was my shitty year, if you will, of games.
I didn't call it shitty. There was some really good games. I have a list of 8 that I had to narrow down.
I got a list of 5, and that was hard for me to get. I played a lot more that year, but I couldn't think of anything that really like grabbed me that year.
One of my favorite games of all time, not all time, but of this decade, Alien Isolation was one.
Okay.
Sunset Overdrive was a surprising contender. Wolfenstein New Order, the Evil Within, and I did Titanfall, but I also had like it was trying to decide between Crysis 3, Watch Dogs, and the Master Chief Collection. So Master Chief Collection was kind of on the bottom.
I got Dragon Age Inquisition, Mario Kart 8, Watch Dogs, Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor, and Far Cry 4.
Wow, they're completely different.
Oh yeah. So I'll start this one off. Inquisition. Inquisition, of course, is hard not to talk about. It was pretty much almost everyone's game of the year that year. It's more Dragon Age. The game's a blast. If I to be completely honest, people, I have not finished it. I'm probably about halfway through still, but I still trek on it every now and again and play it. It's a wonderful game. Smart Dragon Age. If you love BioWare and you love Dragon Age, you'll love it.
Isn't one of those like massive enemies kind of fucking hack and slash?
Kind of.
Dynasty Warriors almost.
No.
I mean,
nothing.
Not to the extent of Dynasty Warriors, but like a scaled back version.
No, not really. No, it's more RPG than anything.
Right. I know that part. I'm just talking about like the battles and shit. I played it, and I just didn't enjoy it. I got probably about an hour in, and I was like, I'm gonna put this down.
It's. I mean, I don't really think it's like that. I mean, I enjoyed the combat in it. That's a rough to explain. It's been so long since I've played it too. Mario Kart 8. Don't really have to say much about that. Probably the best kart racer of all time. I just thoroughly enjoyed playing this on the Wii U with my kids and my wife and different friends of mine. Watch Dogs. A lot of people hate Watch Dogs. I love it. I love the original, the first one. It's a very dark game. It's really weird because, you're supposed to be this hacker, and hackers are supposed to be this like friendly, non-lethal type of person, but not Aiden Pierce. Aiden Pierce carries that gun around. He's blasting bitches. But I love that game. I really did. I love the story and where it went. Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. This was a game that I did not get to finish in 2014. I actually finished this game in 2018, and excuse me.
It was a really good game. I enjoyed it. I played it all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I played it all the way through, and I played all the DLC, and had a blast with it. And when I actually did, I was like, why the fuck did I not play this game? Because it was so fun. Yeah,
the reason it didn't show up on my list is because sometimes the combat got pretty repetitive.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I mean, that I agree with. The combat was super repetitive with about, I want to say about halfway to 75% through the game, it was like, okay, I'm still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Especially
the story was good.
Yeah, the story was amazing. Especially if you're into that world. You're into that world. And I haven't played Shadow of War yet, which is something I plan on playing. Yeah. Then Far Cry 4. To me, Far Cry 4 is the best Far Cry. Far Cry 3 was amazing, and they just brought more into 4 than they did 3. They took everything from 3 and just made it. I don't want to say made it new, but did some new stuff in it. And 4 was amazing. I actually didn't even play 4 until like 2016, and I loved every single bit of this game. The reason I play Far Cry now is because of Far Cry 4. The only one I've ever hated is Primal. I did not like Far Cry Primal. Everything else I loved. 5 was actually a contender on this list of 2018 games, and it did not make it. But yeah, I just loved it.
Okay, cool. Is that the end of your list?
Yeah, that's the end of mine.
Sure. Okay, cool. So I'll start with Alien Isolation. This is, if you've listened to any of this podcast before, you know I'm a big fucking horror game buff. And this game scared the fucking piss out of me, and there's not much that fucking scares me.
I played it recently, and it scared the living fuck out of me.
Dude, like, the suspense and everything they did, I don't know what the fuck they did. It's like they did all their research to make this the most suspenseful, scary fucking game possible. And just hiding and waiting for that alien to get out the fucking way, and it randomly just jumping in front of you, piss your fucking pants. Like, legit. This is probably one of my favorite horror games of all time.
People, I don't know if you guys have heard, but John, have you seen the story? I don't think you have, because I don't think I've told you about it. Actually, no, I haven't. So there's a story a couple weeks ago that I read, because this just got released on Switch, and this runs better on Switch than it does on a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Really?
Yes, if you look it up from Digital Foundry. There's an article in Digital Foundry about how, if you're not sure who Digital Foundry is, they're the people that go through and do all the benchmarks and shit. It runs better on Switch than it does on PS4 and Xbox One, and that's weird. Like, you don't usually hear that.
Yeah, how does that happen?
So, have you got it on there
graphically yet? The same? No, I haven't. I've only got it on the Xbox and I think PC. Yeah, I got it on PC as well.
Yeah, I think you should check that out. It's expensive though. That's the only thing that sucks about Switch.
Yeah.
You got the Switch tax.
I don't think I'm gonna go back and play it again.
Yeah.
Just because it fucking scares panties off me.
Yeah, that game is kind of freaky.
But yeah, like overall, great story. But the fact that it was suspenseful as shit, and I just love it. So move on. Sunset Overdrive. I didn't play this until it came out with Games of Gold. Wasn't even on my fucking radar in 2014. But
that game's fun.
It is an extremely fun game. Just Tony Hawk with mutated zombie-looking fucking crazy fuckers and shooting. Like, that's the best I can describe it to you. And I ended up, I really want a second iteration, even though I'm probably never going to get it.
No, probably not. Well, I don't know. You might. It all depends. All depends on how they're feeling. Depends on
how much Xbox has got. Really needs a game, you know.
Well, no. I mean, it depends on how. I mean, they wouldn't be making it for them anymore. Insomniac's now owned by Sony. It would be a PS4 exclusive now.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Now it would be a PS4 exclusive if they did. I mean, you would have. So how the deal worked out is. How did Insomniac say it? Insomniac said that Microsoft owns the IP, or no, I'm sorry, Microsoft owns the rights to Sunset Overdrive 1. But if they wanted to make a Sunset Overdrive 2, they could, because they own the rights to the IP. So they can technically still make that game. So if they wanted to, they could. But I don't know if that's going to be a big thing, especially with them being a Spider-Man studio now. So
yeah, I don't know.
But yeah.
But no, great game. If you haven't played it, is definitely worth, because it's just fun to fuck around in there. Every once in a while, I'll pop it back in and play it. Wolfenstein New Order. That game, I really loved the entire story of that. Just
so fun.
Fucking Nazis and bullshit everywhere. If you ever enjoyed Wolfenstein back in the day, that's why I picked it up. I didn't even care if it was going to be good or not, and it turned out to be amazing. Like, just the main character is just badass, and all this like extra bullshit they go on with, you know, the decision between killing somebody else and how it affects you later in the game. It's just a good game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Evil Within. I really enjoyed Evil Within. Another horror game. Japanese, was it Square Enix? Who did it? I forget.
Yes, that's a Square game.
Yeah, that's a Square game. Especially that whole like chainsaw guy fucking chasing around. That it definitely keeps you on edge.
The very first beginning of that game is freaky.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, I lied to you. I had to look this up because I knew I was fucking. I didn't even really pay attention to what you were saying. I apologize. It's Bethesda. Bethesda is that game. What game are you thinking about? That's Square. Actually, I think the fact that you're thinking the fact that it's not. It is a Japanese creator. Tango GameWorks is the Japanese creator of the game, but they're I think they are a studio of Bethesda. I believe Bethesda may own Tango.
Gotcha.
Yes, yes, they are owned by ZeniMax, which ZeniMax owns Bethesda. So yes.
Gotcha. Okay. And then finally, it was kind of a toss-up between Titanfall 3, but I ended up choosing Titanfall just because I really enjoyed fucking doing the whole mech bullshit and jumping out and just trying to fight big-ass machines while you're getting stomped on. You know, it was really good. But Crisis 3 was also a beautiful game.
Crisis 3 was a wonderful game. The thing that cracked me up was the fact of the matter that, like, if you remember back in the day, well, I don't know if you remember this, but when I first started building PCs with my cousin back in the day, the way you knew your PC was good was if you could run Crisis. Yeah. And that's still the joke today. Like you'll put a fucking 1080 Ti in your fucking PC, and they're like, "Hey, can it run Crisis?" Like that's the joke. Because the game is
visually stunning is how I describe it.
Yes, and 3 was visually stunning as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I got for that.
That's in yours there? All right, let's move on to 2015.
I'm sure we got a lot of similar ones on this one too.
Okay. I actually hold on. I put 6 on here because 2 of them I could not pick between. So
this was a big year.
I put 6. So if you want to, I don't know if you have any extra you would like to add one to. I put 6. I couldn't put one. So.
So I did Fallout 4. Armello. Even though I didn't play Armello until later, but I knew that would be on yours. Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain.
No.
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Yes.
Batman Arkham Knight.
Correct.
Fuck yes. And then there was like Soma, Halo 5, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and Rainbow Six Siege. Other ones that I was trying to decide between, but
okay. So I have Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Fallout 4, Batman Arkham Knight, Armello, The Order 1886, which was a PS4 exclusive. That was amazing.
I've always wanted to play that game.
I have that
everybody
game
said it was shit.
Don't listen to that. Don't listen to the fucking reviews. I have that game here and I loved it. I have it here at my house and I can let you hold it. It is an amazing game.
Well, how about I give you Call of Cthulhu?
Oh, jeez, I don't know if I want to play Call of Cthulhu.
I know. But yeah, man.
Actually, no, Jonathan. We tried this last time. You still have my Mafia, I believe, and I still have. Oh, I got
it. Yeah, it's still sitting there.
I still have your. Did you ever play Mafia?
Oh yeah, dude. That's.
Okay, I didn't know if you ever played.
It
Mafia
almost
3.
made the list for one of the other ones when
I didn't know
out.
I didn't know if you had played Mafia 3 or not.
I thoroughly enjoyed Mafia 3.
Did I? So I have it down here and you can borrow. So the game is 7 hours long. The game does not take you a long time to play. I was looking it up how long it is to beat. I have it here. You can borrow it. It's an amazing game. And then also I have Deadpool on this list because Deadpool came out that year.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And I loved every single bit. I am a Deadpool fanatic, people, and I loved every single bit of this game. No, not me. I only have 35 Deadpool pops in my house. My wedding cake was partial Deadpool. I love this. I love that game. So we have 2 different ones. Let's talk about our 2 different ones, then we'll go into the rest of them. The Order 1886. This one's kind of hard to explain. It's back in the olden days, probably the 1800s. You do have guns and stuff. You're kind of killing like werewolves and kind of the lycanthrope, and you're killing people as well. It's a hard story to explain. It's been probably 3 or 4 years since I've played it. It's a really hard story to explain, but you need to experience it. A lot of people will tell you it's shitty. So some of the ratings it got on it is give me a second, I'll give them to you. I mean, I knew they weren't great. The reception was not amazing on it. So reception, yes. I mean, it got horrible ratings by people. The highest rating is it looks like an 8.2 on Game Trailers. IGN gave it a 6.5. I mean, but to me, dude, I try not to listen to critics, and I just try and go play the game. This is a Sony exclusive. It was made by Ready at Dawn, and the game's amazing. I think you should go play it. I think you should try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, and you'll know if you don't like it. Yeah. You'll know it's a third person over the shoulder. It's not hard.
The trailer sold me when the first trailer came out, I think on E3 one year, and I was like, this game looks fucking awesome. The story looks legit. Like, I think the story's gonna be really, really great. And then just, I don't like to listen to other people, but yeah. Literally everyone was saying it was a fucking shit game. Yeah,
and I mean, I agree. And the bad part about it is I can see where some of their stuff comes from. There was some stuff in the game I don't like. I remember not liking, like, some of the quick time events I didn't like.
Gotcha.
Some of the weapons were kind of meh, but they were good. But the story is what grabs you, because the story goes in some places to where you don't think it's going to go there, but you kind of do. It's kind of where you think you do, but it really doesn't, and then it does something else, and it's really fun, dude. You can borrow mine, and if not, it's $4.99 on the PSN all the time. Yeah, it's definitely a blast, man.
Okay.
My other one was Deadpool, of course. I am a Deadpool fanatic, and this game came out in 2015, and I immediately went and bought it and beat it on every difficulty I could, because I'm a Deadpool fanatic. I loved everything about Deadpool, the game at least. Well, actually, I'm sorry, comics and Deadpool and everything too. Storyline's just stupid. I mean, I really don't know what to tell you about it. It's
Deadpool.
Yeah, it's Deadpool. I mean, it was published by Activision, which was really weird that they did that. This game breaks the fourth wall more than any time you'll ever see. I mean, it's obvious for Deadpool. I'm trying to find who voiced Deadpool in this, because he did an amazing job. I'm sorry. Nolan North did Deadpool. I did not know that. Actually, I just realized that. Daniel Way is actually the writer of this game, and Daniel Way is the writer of Deadpool comics. So that put that together was amazing. You see people like Domino in here, Wolverine, Cable's in this. Death is in it a lot. It's just funny as fuck, dude. It's a blast of a game. You can play it on Xbox One, you can play it on 360, PS4, PS3, and I know it's on PC somewhere. Check it out, people. You got katanas. There's a certain scene to where it's almost like a strip club, and it's hilarious. So yeah, go check that out.
So was Fallout 4 not on your list? Was that?
Yes, I believe we had together was Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Arkham Knight, and Armello.
Okay. I did Fallout 4. That was probably my favorite game of that year. It was the graphical improvement of Fallout 3.
Agreed.
There was a lot of great things. I liked the DLC with the Nuka-Cola thing, the Nuka-Cola theme park, and all that other stuff. I liked creating your own town, how you could just kind of go in somewhere and set up your own town, exactly how to build shit. Way better than how 76 did it. But in general, it was a great game. The story was really good. I don't think the ending wasn't necessarily as good as Fallout 3, but it was still a great game. Metal Gear Solid. I love Metal Gear Solid, Phantom Pain. I love that series. Basically, open world Metal Gear Solid, and it was graphically just a beautiful game. And I really enjoyed seeing Quiet's titties bounce around when she's doing sniping. But overall, it was really engaging story. And that's what I really liked about it. I think it was kind of a difficult game because it was long as fuck, because you had to go everywhere and walk or fly or whatever the fuck you needed to do to get from point A to point B. And that was taxing because it took a lot of fucking time because it wasn't linear.
Yeah, I mean the game, but the thing about like Fallout 4, I talk about it because this was my very last midnight release that I can remember going to, and there were so many people there, dude. It wasn't even funny. I mean, this was a big release. It was a big launch. Fallout 3, the New Vegas, and New Vegas came before 3, so I believe we hadn't had a Fallout at that point since New Vegas, I believe.
Yeah.
And then they dropped 4, and I remember the reaction watching it at E3, and it was the same reaction I had of watching Fallout 3 at E3. It was amazing to see that stuff, the VATs, and to see everything new, and to see the graphics, and just to see how everything's changed. And like you said, the storyline was kind of at the end. I mean, it kind of went places to where you could kind of be like, oh yeah, okay, I seen that coming. And you had the choice of killing your dad or saving him or whatever, which I don't know about saving, because I think he was gonna die anyway. The game was just fun, man. I really enjoyed it. I put hundreds of hours into this too, kind of like Skyrim. went back and did everything in the game. I've done every DLC. I've done everything in every DLC. You know, it's something where it had me playing and it made me want to play. And it was a good thing for me and my buddy to Lewis talk about. So for me and my buddy Lewis to talk about. So we kind of have like a bonding situation over that. I love that game, man.
I remember, and hopefully I won't get in trouble for what I did, or I didn't. But I was working as cop, obviously, and went to the midnight release in uniform. Waited in my fucking patrol car for the doors to open. I already had a good fucking relationship with the people at GameStop because I would come up there regularly around the time they were closing because they were always getting hit or whatever, and just bullshit with them while I waited for calls to come out.
Was that the years of Armand? Was Armand there those years?
Was he a manager? This was Winter Haven.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, this was Glenn. But I'd go up there, and I remember I drove straight home, took my fucking lunch break, and played the entire hour, and went back on duty. And
yeah, I bet you hated going back on duty.
I did, dude, because I was so invested.
I would have called out.
I was so close. I was like, maybe I can just stay home. I'll take my 15-minute break here.
Maybe I'll just call out. I'll just say, hey guys, look, I'm on lunch, and I got the shits, dude.
I think I called my supervisor and was like, is there any way? No. All right, cool. Bye. So, yeah. That's all I got for those two. And then we just got our matching ones.
Which ones?
Would you like to talk about first?
Which ones did you talk about?
Armello, Witcher 3, and Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh, we talked... Which... Oh, okay, because I had 6. So I had... So, okay, we talked about Fallout 4. Because Fallout 4 is on my list as well. Let's talk about... Well, I'll tell you what, just pick one. But let's leave Armello for last.
Oh, okay. How about we do Witcher what?
Yeah, let's do Witcher. That's fine.
Okay. I enjoyed Witcher.
I'm still playing it.
That's why I hesitated. I'm still playing Witcher Wire Hunt because it's a fucking long ass game. I feel like, you know.
I love it. It's a 180-hour game, and it's a blast to play. And it's one of those games, so like, kind of like what we talked about Fallout. You don't want to put it down. Like it's so fun to just be like, and like for me, I have became a fanatic of, since reading the books, of course, have became a fanatic of this world, and it's hard to put it down because, like I said, putting faces to names and different things of that nature, and talking to these people, and it's rough, and you're treating these people as like I'm in that world, and I'm loving it, dude. It's I still play it. It's 4 years later, and I'm still playing it again.
I forget what the word I'm looking for, but the general hate toward Witchers is so felt in different things, like the various feelings that people have is in that game, but also the monster battles are fucking amazing.
They're amazing.
They're really fucking good. So, I mean, there's not much more to say other than that. It's just a quality game, and I can't wait to get back into it because I'm like, yeah.
I am so right now I am playing I'm still playing Tomb Raider. I'm almost done with Tomb Raider, and then I'm going to move on to Rise of the Tomb Raider. And as I move on to Rise of the Tomb Raider, I will still be playing Witcher, I'm still playing Witcher 3. I one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off is how I'm doing it, and I love it, dude. I love it loving every bit of it.
Cool.
Arkham Knight.
Batman Arkham Knight.
This goddamn game. I had this game pre-ordered for probably close to 2 years. They kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. And I actually got in trouble for when this game came out. So a bunch of my friends wanted to go out to a bar at that time in Lakeland, and I didn't have any money. But I was glad I didn't have any money because at that time I was a broke little bastard, and I decided to go pick this game up that I already had pre-ordered for almost 2 years at this point. It's been paid off. So I go pick this up and I post online about I have it, and I'm so excited about it, and I can't wait to play it. And I get in trouble by all my friends. Thought you didn't have any money to go. Well, I've had this game pre-ordered for 2 years, bitches. Shut up. But anyway, yeah, dude, it was a blast of a game. I loved Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight was I didn't like the Batmobile stuff, kind of, but I did. I don't know. It was weird. I liked it, but I didn't.
It was weird, but it was fun.
Yes. There we go.
And I legitimately, I don't think I left my bedroom for days. Like, I left when I had to, but every moment, like, I ignored my family, ignored all sorts of different bullshit. I was fucking playing this goddamn game because I was bound and determined to beat it. And I played it everything, trying to beat every fucking quest and make everything perfect. And it was a good quality game. Just the mechanics and the whole like fucking shooting you out of the damn car and flying around as Batman was fucking badass. I loved the whole jump fly thing. It was such a good game. I was entertained the whole time. It did not feel repetitive.
I love and I also love the what's it called? God damn it. The counter system, the counter system in the fights.
It was engaging.
Yes, it was. I just love this game, dude. It was so fun. The story
was super good too. The story was fucking. I was enthralled with the story. Just the different elements of it.
Agreed. And last but not least, Armello.
Oh, this is our favorite game to play together. I feel like.
Yes, it is. If the games weren't 2 hours long a piece.
Yeah, I know.
So Armello People is made by developers called League of Geeks, which they also pissed me off a while back, but I got it fixed. So now they haven't pissed me off anymore. Armello is a digital board game. It's the best way for me to explain it to you. Yeah. It's a blast. You have 4 people on a board. You can take turns. You're not really rolling dice, but you have like a certain number of action points, which you can move to different squares. You have quests you're trying to complete, and basically the king that is in the middle of the map is basically getting sicker over turns, and you have like 10. I think it's 10 turns you have, and the king is just getting sick, and you have a day and night feature. And you are trying to stop these other people from doing this. You can also make alliances. You can do all kinds of things, and it's a blast. It's basically a lot of strategy you have to learn.
I mean, it wasn't that difficult for us to get into it.
No, it really wasn't. Like, especially because the thing is, I don't really get into a lot of board games, probably because I don't have a lot of people to play board games with. But getting into that when we first played was one thing. I was like, oh. This is really fun. I'm really enjoying this, and we had a blast our first time playing.
I remember so many times we've played this game. Like, all right, one more match. We're like, fuck, we've been playing this for like 3-4 hours. Like, what the fuck, you know? And though can be a long game, not necessarily always a long game. And I actually have it on my phone. I'm sure you do too. And I play it randomly. I
have it, dude. I've bought it. Now I've bought it everywhere now. Bought it on my Switch. Yeah. I have now bought it on the Xbox. I bought it on PlayStation. I bought it on PC, and I have it on my phone. And I've bought all the DLC on my phone. Like, it's weird that I've done that.
I mean, there's a dice system in there, but you don't really.
Yeah, you don't really
understand it.
No.
It is literally you're trying to get these symbols on this dice to match what you need, and there's so many different ways to win the game. There's like a tier system for like which way to win is better than the other. You know, they have those spirit stones. They have like, prestige, like how good of a character you are can win. You win by killing the fucking king. All that different stuff. There's so many different ways to win the game. And the characters are all diverse and have different abilities. So yeah, it's a very cool game. It's one of my favorites, especially to play with you.
I agree, because I mean, there's a lot of shit talking. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can team up on people, especially if it's like you and a friend go in it against 2 other random people. You can team up on these people, and especially like you can technically play this game as a 2-player game, if you will, if you wanted to, you know. Yeah, it's just a blast of a game, people. You should definitely check it out. We recommend it. So, and you can always get it. You can always get it on sale. The only problem is now it's really hard to find a game. It's so old now to where it's really hard to find a game. I honestly really wish they would make a Armello real board game, because I would buy it. I'd probably honestly never. I don't know if I'd play it, but I'd
have it in my house.
I'd have it, yes, because of how much I love it.
For sure, such a great game, man. Like one of my favorite. It was a random ass thing we saw. Like we saw it advertised, I think, and it was on sale, and we just like, hey, you want to try this? I think you were like, want to try this game?
I think we were up on a late night. It was a late night. We were up, and we were on Steam. I was like, man, I want something to play, but I don't want to play what we have been playing. And I believe it was in 2016, and we had been playing Overwatch, and it was a time of
Dead by Daylight, not Dead by Daylight,
or Dead by Daylight, yeah. And I was like, I really don't want to play any of those. Let's see what's on Steam, and it came up on Steam. It's like, oh, this has been. I don't want to say it's been released, but we ended up looking into it and watching some videos, and it looked fun, and we're like, oh yeah, we'll buy it. And it was $13.99 at the time, and we bought it, and it was a blast.
I've had so many enjoyable times playing that. Especially just on my fucking phone.
I mean, playing by yourself, playing against. I've played against AI enemies twice this week, and I usually come home when I'm bored. Normally, what I'll do is I'll come home at night when I'm bored, and I'll be like, man, I don't want to play any game that I've been playing, and I'll play a game of Armello against computers, and I'll love every single bit of it. So,
yeah. Oh, the AI. Just even the difficulty settings.
The AI is still rough.
It's not like they're fucking stupid. No, they're good game. It's good AI.
Yeah, the AI is a rough. They're hard. They're definitely not. They're definitely not shitty, if you will. They're hard. Oh, Jonathan, I have something to tell you in a minute. Okay. Yeah. They have a Mandalorian pop at GameStop on sale.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of them.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. 2016.
2016. All right, so I guess I'll go with my Quantum Break, Overwatch, the Doom re-release, Gears 4, and Mafia 3.
Okay.
Are on my list.
Uncharted 4, Titanfall 2, Dishonored 2, Mafia 3, and Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah. I left Pokemon Go off of it.
Pokemon Go is on there for reasonings of just enjoying time with my friends.
Okay.
Like, I don't think I've ever got out, and this is going to sound really fucking weird. I don't think I've ever been out and exercised that much in a long time and had fun while doing it.
I loved because I was working at that time, and the moment it came out, I downloaded that bitch. And I was working that night, and I went around to the different stops, having a blast, and I was catching all these different people. So I purposely would get out of my car, pretend like I was fucking with a bit or whatever. They would get all nervous, and I'd walk up to them and be like, y'all playing Pokemon Go? What? Y'all playing Pokemon Go? Yeah, this is a great Pokestop. I've gotten so much good shit. And we'd have like a fucking 20-30 minute conversation while we're playing fucking Pokemon Go, and I thought that was really great to kind of bridge the gap between cops and fucking
oh yeah, definitely
to have a good time. So I enjoyed that shit. So you anyway.
So there was our Pokemon Go story. I mean, Pokemon Go was great, and there's, like I said, it's really not much to say. I love Pokemon Go because of just the friendship it brought, and being able to enjoy time with my friends and my little brother, and even my mom would come sometimes because I'd be out with my brother, and we'd drive to random places and look really weird and just park there and fight at a gym. Well, me and my brother are fighting at a gym, and that was just a really cool thing about it. I loved it. Okay.
Who's going through in this one?
I guess you can go ahead and start.
Okay. So number one here, fucking Quantum Break, man. Our boys our boys and gals, whatever, at Remedy, fucking knocked this one out of the park for me. I love the story, just the whole it's a TV show / video game thing. So was really cool. I know some people didn't care for it, but the decisions and the storyline alone made it so effing worth it to play this game. And I want to go back and play it sometimes. I think about it regularly. Just like, oh, I want to go back and play and try to get, do a different kind of quest or whatever, or get different decisions and stuff. Overwatch, that's not one we have together, right?
We do not have Overwatch together. Okay. It almost made my list. It did not.
Overwatch, I mean, everything they've done with Overwatch is pretty awesome. Despite the controversies and shit that we have, it's still a great game. The whole hero shooter thing, you can play it over and over and over and over again and not get bored. Especially they keep adding new characters, and then they do these little mission quest things that give backstories to everybody. In general, it is a very playable game, and I love it. I've spent a lot of time playing with friends and playing just by myself. Like many people have loved Doom forever. Doom, this creation of Doom, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like Doom 3. Doom 3 is always going to be my favorite, but this one was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And Gears 4 had, and it was a different way of doing it, and I really enjoyed the setup of the story. It's not as good as Gears 5, but it is definitely important for it to be in there because it set up everything and kind of pushed us into this new generation of Gears. I really, really enjoyed it. And then we got Mafia 3, which is together.
Okay. Uncharted 4. I've talked about how I love the Uncharted series multiple times. I mean, it is definitely a reason to have a PlayStation, if you will. Uncharted is probably one of the best series that's ever been made to me. The one I hate the most is the one everybody loves the most, which is Uncharted 2. Because Uncharted 2 is the only game that's ever made me want to throw my controller through my TV. I have never wanted to do that, never thought about doing that, never understood how people could break shit like that until I played that game. Uncharted 4, though. I talk a lot about actually I just talked about earlier why I love this game. Is mainly because of the whole pirate thing. The pirate scene, the pirate, I don't know how to explain this. Everything's about trying to find these old pirates and trying to find this old treasure and stuff about these pirates. And like I said, I love old pirate stuff. Like it made me go get books from the library about pirates and read them about certain pirates and stuff like that, about Blackbeard and different things like that. And I was started reading like little biographies of stuff like that, which you never know if any of that's right because none of us lived back then, but it was a blast. Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 was a game I played this year. I just played the this year, the campaign. The campaign's only about a 5-hour campaign, I think, but it's a blast of a campaign. Go check it out. Probably the best shooter campaign I think I've ever played, honestly. Dishonored 2, hard to explain about Dishonored 2. Actually, not hard to explain, but not much to say. It's a sequel to Dishonored. Dishonored was a wonderful game by Arcane, published by Ubisoft, and it's hard not to play this game, and it's hard to and hard not to. It's hard not to because the game's amazing. It's hard to play this game because of how the stealth. If you ever played stealth in a first-person view, it's rough. It's really rough to do. It's hard. I don't want to say it's hard to do, but it's kind of rough because you can't see all around you like you can in third person. You can only see out of your vision here. So it's kind of hard, but it's a really fun aspect. I just played it not too long ago. And then Pokemon Go I've already talked about. So we'll hide down to Mafia 3. I will start with Mafia 3 by saying my favorite game in this game, my favorite time in this game is where I could shoot the KKK.
Damn it. That is the best part of the whole fucking game.
That is the best part of the whole game. Yes.
Play it just to play that part. I remember you telling me when you let me borrow this game, she says, I don't want to ruin it for you, but there's this part Do you want me to ruin it for you?
Yes.
and you ended up telling me that there's a part with the fucking KKK. I'm like, oh god, I have to play this fucking game.
Yes, you do.
And just mowing those motherfuckers down, that was just awesome.
And it was hilarious.
The whole game, like, even if it's an exaggeration, the race relations, and it shows you that time period of what was fucking going on and how people were fucking treated. It's a great game. It is a fucking thinker game. It is something that will take you out of your fucking mindset. If you are from the South and redneck as fuck, you know, and really kind of puts that shit in your face.
Yeah.
So,
it definitely throws. The bad part about it is I think this was in the 60s, I think. This game is based in the 60s. And, it definitely throws that race stuff at you, like, almost immediately.
Oh, 100%.
And, like I said, the best time in that game is just run up in the KKK and blasted everybody in that bitch.
The whole thing, the whole setup is funny as fuck too.
Yes.
Like, it's just great. I can't say so much about it.
It's definitely a game where it got rated really bad, and
it didn't deserve it.
It didn't. To me, it did not deserve it. I loved it. I loved every single bit of it, and I think everybody should go play it.
The only reason I think it got rated bad is because because of the race element.
I think
people felt like it was being pushed on them, and I disagree. I think it was 100% factual for the most part. And if you are uncomfortable with fucking race, then yeah, you're probably not going to like the fucking game.
I mean, the thing is, like, nowadays, like, we talk about it all the time about, you know, our generation is a very, for some reason, butthurt generation about everything. And that could have been the reason. You know, a lot of the people that were reviewing this game were probably a more butthurt generation. So that could have been a lot of the issue. The game's amazing, though, so go play it. I loved every single bit of it.
For sure.
2017. I know we have one of these, possibly two. Go ahead, tell me yours.
Resident Evil 7. Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm sure you've got that one.
Correct.
Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
Correct.
Wolfenstein 2. And Assassin's Creed Origins.
All right, so we have three.
I put Prey as like as a sixth.
We have Breath of the Wild. I have Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Senua's Sacrifice, and Assassin's Creed Origins. So go ahead and talk about your two that we don't have together.
Okay. Wolfenstein 2. Obviously, it's a sequel to the other Wolfenstein. This was really cool. I really like New Colossus. I like how they pushed it forward several years into, I think it's the 60s, and just how it, maybe it was 70s, I'm not sure. But how they did that take of that 60s, time period. It's the 60s. Okay.
I believe.
How they took that take of the 60s and America being taken over by fucking Nazis was cool as shit. Like,
because that could have happened.
Yeah, it could have happened. And like, there's a great scene where you're in America and you're a fucking diner, and this Nazi fucking guy come walking up to you. He's a commandant or something, and starts having a conversation with you, and then later on figures out that you are the enemy, and everything kind of goes to shit after that. Like, everything involved in that was great.
So my favorite part of that game, and the most probably hilarious part of that game, was when it was probably near the end, and there's going to be a spoiler, so if you don't want this, skip ahead about 20 seconds. I'll wait for you. 2 seconds. 1, 2. Okay. So when Anya is pregnant and gets up with her shirt off, with titties out, pregnant as fuck, 2 machine guns in hand, and just blasting bitches. I loved that part of that game. I loved every single bit of that. It was hilarious, man.
The story was fucking hilarious and really, really good, just in general. So I really like that game. The other one was Resident Evil 7. That is the most realistic take on a fucking horror game I've seen ever. I put it down several fucking spooked the shit out of me. Made me kind of want to throw up a little bit. or was just literally just scary as fuck. Or I just had to put it down for a little while because it gave me the. This is my favorite in the Resident Evil series, period. And there's a lot of great games. The starters, Resident Evil 2 obviously is really great, but 7 was the first real take where you went in first person view and you really felt like you were inside this game. It is one of the most immersive games I've ever played in my entire life. So there's that. I won't suck its dick too much.
So two of mine that we don't have, I'll start with Ghost Recon Wildlands. Ghost Recon Wildlands is a game that did not get reviewed very well in the beginning. It was actually kind of shitty in the beginning and ended up being a really good game later on. Ubisoft took care of it and pretty much nursed it back to health, if you will. The game is amazing. The game is wonderful. It's all online, but really you didn't have to. I played the whole thing single player, which is the way I really wanted to play Breakpoint, and I was hoping Breakpoint would be the same way, and of course it's not. But I'm loving it. I loved every single bit of that. I probably put about 100 hours into it. It got bad enough to where I had friends asking me to help them run through their games. The sync shot in that game was amazing, between the way you could sync between all four of your teammates, your squad members or whatever. This game is just a blast. Horizon Zero Dawn. So Horizon Zero Dawn is, how do I explain this? Probably one of the better games that nobody talks about to me. Have you played Horizon Zero Dawn?
I have not, but multiple people have told me to play this fucking game over and over and really drill it in my head, and I won't play it.
You should, and the reason you should is because this game is, it's hard to put down. It's one of those games to where once you start playing, it is probably one of the hardest things to put down.
Is the story really good?
Yes, the story is amazing. The girl that plays Aloy is amazing. Aloy is amazing as a character. It kind of hits you in some feels in certain areas. The open world is great. The fighting of the I thought it was gonna be weird with the fighting of like the mechanical dinosaurs type thing, but it was not. The fighting of the mechanical animals was amazing and great and felt great. Yeah, man, it's a blast. I mean, go check it out. I think I might have that one here for you as well. I'll have to check on that. But yeah, all right. Let's hop into whichever one of the three that we have together that you want to.
We can throw Origins in real quick.
Okay, let's do it.
On my list. Egypt, man. Like, who doesn't want to fucking play Assassin's Creed?
And Bayek was an amazing character.
Yeah, the whole like child part of the story and everything. It was great. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was a good game. I'm sure most people love the whole Egypt and fucking ancient times of the pyramids and shit. It's really cool to go around to the different cities. The whole fact that you're trying to save your fucking son and all this other shit, and then get revenge. It's fucking good. That's all I can say about it.
Just I mean, it's hard. It's hard. It's the open world in that game is so fun, and the what's that called? They actually have a like an encyclopedia type version of it, where not encyclopedia, but a more like exploratory, to where you can go explore the world with no enemies or anything, so you can kind of get the whole world of it. And that's a really fun experience, especially because a lot of younger people or gamer teachers were using that in their classroom to show people in their class, to show their kids in their classroom, which I thought was amazing. Yeah, man, there's not much more you can say besides a great game. You should play it,
especially if you love Assassin's Creed. I mean, really, when you talk about Assassin's Creed games, they're all generally kind of the same concept of gameplay with new features here and there. You just say, it's Assassin's Creed in fucking Egypt, or you say it's Assassin's Creed in London during World War II. It's Assassin's Creed during
Syndicate was good. Syndicate wasn't bad. Syndicate. I loved Syndicate. Syndicate was actually really good. I actually just beat that probably a couple years ago, but it was a really good game.
It came out after my first trip to London, and I was in it, and that's where I found out for the first time that Alexander Graham Bell got a shot. So that was weird. I tell that to people a lot nowadays. And he wasn't American? Well, I mean, he kind of was. He moved over here, but that motherfucker was Scottish, and he lived in Scotland and in London for a long fucking time before he came over here. So, anyway, yeah, good game. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
One of my top 10 favorite games of all time.
Dude,
this game, I played this year, and I don't know why I slept on it for so long, because I am one of Ninja Theory's. Actually, I probably slept on it because I didn't really know about it that much.
Yeah.
This game made me one of Ninja Theory's biggest fans. I am a huge Ninja Theory fan, which is the developer of this game. I am a huge Ninja Theory fan because of this. I love this game. It was really hard for me to put down. If you're going to play this, people, if you have not played Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, it is a psychological game.
Headphones are required.
They're not required, but they should be. You should definitely use headphones. There's definitely things where you'll hear people whispering in your left ear. You'll hear things whispered in your right ear, talking in your ear. I don't know how Ninja Theory did it, but I do, because there's a documentary in the game. I'm not sure if anybody's watched it. The documentary that's inside of the game is beat the game and then go watch the documentary. The documentary of that was extraordinary, yeah, and how they studied it, and how they got people that actually actually schizophrenic people, and all these people that are going through these problems to actually tell you, like, this is what happens to me at nighttime. This is what happens to me now. This is what happens to me at this time. When I'm scared, this is what happens. When I'm ready to fuck somebody up, this is what happens. Yeah. And it's amazing. And now that they're allowed to make another one of that, when this game wasn't that big, like the game, I'm sure this game did not hit that hard when it came down to budget, or down to like money wise. Like, they probably didn't make that much. Microsoft probably didn't make that much out of this. I'm sorry, not Microsoft. This was not a Microsoft game. This is actually exclusive to PlayStation when it came out. But Senua's Sacrifice, I believe it's Senua's Saga, or Senua's Revenge, or something like that. Whatever number 2 is going to be amazing, and I can't wait. And I hope it's a launch day 1 title for when I get my Xbox.
The psychological part is what sucked me in the beginning. That whole thing of hearing the voices in your head, seeing fucking you kind of going down this canoe near the beginning. You're kind of dealing with the old gods, like I believe it's Viking Norse kind of thing, and you end up fighting these huge creatures and all these other different people, and it is just the most mental mind fuck. Because there were several times where I heard like whispers or something like that. I'm like, oh fuck, something really is behind me. Oh no, wait, it's the fucking game. It's the fucking game. So that alone told me in the beginning that was going to be a fucking great thing to see, and so it turned out to be real great.
I think the fact of the Norse being in there was something I loved a lot. I love Norse mythology. I love everything about it, and I don't know, man. This game is just a blast. Like, I don't know, if you're like me and slept on it, go play it. Go put some headphones in, go play this game, go see how psychological and schizophrenic it is, and go play it and enjoy it.
The combat system is really cool. I actually, like, it wasn't too repetitive.
No, it wasn't.
It was pretty fun.
It was actually kind of rough at certain times. Times it got hard. Like, it was. Especially when you're first starting out. I mean, at the end when you're doing it, you learned it, but it got rough. It got rough at times.
Like that first set of gates or whatever that you go, you know what I'm talking about? There's like a stone room with pillars. They're a really hard battle between multiple enemies that you end up fighting more later. But
I mean, the last level
I died multiple times.
You go, I mean, when I first learned how to combat, I died a couple times. when you're first learning how to actually go play, or at the end of the game, like the very last level of that game, man, it's crazy with how many people they pour at you.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
Some of those boss battles, I definitely died a few times.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's move on to probably everybody's game of the year 2017, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I will let you start this one out.
So Breath of the Wild was really fucking awesome. I got this right before my plane trip to Ireland, and it was the day the Switch came out, and the day I picked it all up in the same fucking day, and a few days later I was headed off to fucking Ireland. And that's a long ass fucking flight. It's like 10 fucking hours. And I bought charge packs and all sorts of stuff just so I would stay bored, and I played it the entire 10 hours. One way back, one way there, and one way back the entire time. And I played it all the way through. After that, I spent every fucking waking moment until I finished that fucking game, or every spare amount of time I had. And the whole Zelda open world in a new fucking look, the story was really fucking... I didn't necessarily care about the Ganon, the way Ganon was portrayed in it, but it wasn't awful. It was a fun and engaging boss battle. The fact that you can fucking fight Ganon early on in the game whenever you technically want to is pretty cool.
Technically, as soon as you start.
If you can make it up to that fucking tower and figure it out, you can do it. And I've seen people battle them early on in the game and finish the fucking game like that in a short period of time. They struggled, but
I'm sure.
Yeah, they struggled, but it was good. Everything about it was fun, man. I had a love-hate relationship with your swords break.
I didn't like it. I didn't like
it, but there were certain aspects of it that I did like. But eventually you get the Master Sword and it doesn't really matter then, does it? So, it was a good game.
I did not pick this up until last year. Not this year, actually. It would have been February of this year when I picked it up. And I did not realize how much fun I would have. It was so much fun. It's kind of one of the things where you said, like, it's hard to put down. Couldn't put it down. I just kept playing it, continuously played it. And I'm still having fun with it. Still to this day, still playing it, having fun with it.
It's a damn good game, and it's definitely one to keep picking.
Yep. It's one you can always go back to, you know. It's kind of one of them things.
For sure.
2018, probably my favorite year in gaming of all time.
I don't know about that, but there were some really great games in there.
For me, it's my favorite year of gaming of all time.
Well, because I God of War.
4 of mine, actually.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll go ahead and give you my list.
Okay.
God of War, number 1. Detroit, Almost Human. Pokemon Let's Go. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And Octopath Traveler.
Okay. I have right now. Jonathan is trying to get a kiss from his wife, and it's very hilarious to watch. It's very hilarious to watch because she is also trying to get naked on camera. For some reason, I'm not sure why. Sam, why are you trying to get naked on camera? I do not want to see your boobs, Sam.
Everybody wants to see your boobs.
True statement. Not me. That'd be weird. So 2018 for me, God of War, Spider-Man.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Octopath Traveler as well.
Oh, we got 3. Nice.
Yes, we have 3. Nice. Yes, 3. Okay, so go ahead and talk about your 2.
So Pokemon Let's Go. Who doesn't like the original story of fucking Pokemon?
Yeah.
It's
basically nostalgic. All Let's Go is red and blue all over again.
Yellow. It's like yellow.
It's basically yellow, yeah.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times, and I'm sure played the original Pokemon games through, but I can tell you I've played them a fucking lot, and I can't tell you how many times. And the fact that this gave me all the nostalgia feels with all the game, and I already knew how to play it and beat it.
Yeah.
But it also added new elements, and I thoroughly enjoyed this game. It was super good. Um, even the Pokeball mechanic and them adding in the Let's Go part, not my favorite. I didn't like the whole non-battle system, but also you could just catch a fucking Pokemon and you could see them wandering around. I loved that. I loved that I could go find it, and I got a fucking Mew right away.
I
and
also
played through the game.
I also liked the whole. I like the traveling part of your you'd have a Pokemon partner that was always behind you. Like I loved being able to ride an Arcanine. Like I loved being able to ride a Dragonite or swim with a Gyarados. You know, so
I love that you didn't have to use HMs on your fucking. They just gave you the ability. That was the best goddamn improvement to the whole fucking game.
Yes, I love that. So a funny thing about this, last night I bought my daughter a Switch Lite for Christmas. I have not let her open and play Pokemon Sword yet. I bought her Sword and I bought myself Shield. I have not let her play that yet because that is a little bit rougher to start if you're a new Pokemon player. So I figured the best place for her to start would be Pokemon Let's Go, and I gave her Let's Go Pikachu last night, and I showed her a couple of fundamentals, and I said, go off on your own and do your thing, and if you have questions, come to me. And she beat Brock by herself.
Nice.
She asked me, I think she asked me one time, she said, why is my Thundershock not working on this guy's Pokemon? And it was a Geodude. And I had to explain to her, I had to explain to her the fact of, okay, electric doesn't work against rock, so you need to pick something that will work against rock. What do you think will work against rock? And of course, she knows like water works against rock, and so she had Pikachu, of course, but she had caught, and she also knows that grass works against rock, and she had caught an Oddish. And I said, okay, grass works against rock. Who is grass? And who's a grass Pokemon in your in your inventory or in your party? And she said, this person Oddish. And I said, oh, yep, there you go. They use that Pokemon, and she used them, and she beat Brock in no time. She went and leveled up her Pokemon. She understood everything, and it was really cool seeing that. It was really cool seeing that I did that by myself back in the day, and now I'm able to help her do that, and it's just continuing on and on and on. So. It was a really cool feeling and a really cool thing to see.
That's one of the great things about Pokemon is like the types are really important, obviously, in how you battle and which types work best against the others. And you don't really have to do a research in it because you naturally just know, well, fucking electricity doesn't work against fucking rocks, but it might work against fucking metal, and it'll definitely work against fucking water, and water will definitely put out fire, and fire will definitely hurt fucking grass. Like, you know these things in your head.
Right.
Some of them you had to research a little bit, but it's almost like it's a natural thing for you. It is.
Right, and I mean, like, nowadays it's a little bit rougher than what it was back then, because back then you only had a couple. Now a Pokemon can have two different types, and that's why I haven't let her open Sword yet. It might be a little bit harder for her. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's been a blast. I'm loving it.
Detroit Almost Human. I thought this whole fucking story was really, really good. It definitely it made you think, because it was about these robot, android, whatever they're called, finding independence and wanting their place in society and protesting, and they were being murdered and all this other different stuff. And not only did it make you think about the future and what could possibly happen, but it was definitely a direct relation to a lot of different things that are happening in our society now or past. It is a thinker for sure. And the puzzles, it wasn't a very difficult game to get through, but all the investigations, the beauty of the game, all the decisions that you made, awesome. And I sat there and I played it. That's another game I played all the way through. Just did not stop every moment I was fucking playing this game until I finished it. So really good.
Awesome. So I have Spider-Man. Probably don't have to say a lot about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I think, was gypped of a lot of awards last year. It's made by Insomniac, of course, and I believe probably the best Marvel game ever made. Spider-Man was a blast. I don't know if you didn't play this, did you?
I did not. But
Spider-Man
says it's one of the most amazing games.
Spider-Man was probably one of the best games I've ever played. I had so much fun with it. It's all open world, and just swinging around, you feel like Spider-Man, and the stuff you do, you feel like Spider-Man. It's so amazing. It's so fun to do. It just got gypped on a lot of stuff. And then Red Dead Redemption 2. Once again, another game I don't have to say much about. I put 96 hours into this game, into the campaign alone. Put 96 hours into it. It is a slow game. Is it hard? Yes, it is a hard game to keep playing, but it is one of the best games I've ever played. I loved it. I had so much fun with it. You just have to learn to stick with it. And it's just fun, man. I said something about the first one earlier. You gotta play it, stick with it, and you'll have a blast. I mean, it's like I say, it's hard because it's slow. It's very slow paced, and it's kind of weird. The storyline's kind of weird. You know, if you haven't played 1, can I play 2? And the answer is yes. Technically, yes. Technically, this should be number 1. Technically, if you will. But yeah, man, just if you guys can check it out, you can always get Red Dead 2 for a cheap price nowadays. I think it's been out for a year now, so you can always get it for a cheap price now.
True.
So what do we have? Let's talk about GOW last. Let's go with Octopath.
Okay. I picked up Octopath kind of on the whim. I looked up a trailer of it. It was kind of at a time when I didn't have much to play on my Switch. Like, I'd played everything that I wanted to fucking play. I needed something new, and this seemed intriguing because I like the old school RPGs, and it's so diverse with all the different characters. The fact that you find a new character and you explore all the elements of that character, and then you move on to another character and create your party. It's just an interesting take on it, and I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this game. I know you picked it up. I picked
it up late. Yeah, Octopath Traveler has my favorite music of all time in a video game. I always am listening to the Octopath Traveler soundtrack on my phone as I'm sleeping, because this game, the soundtrack is just amazing, man. It's hard not to listen to it. Like when I'm in here editing this podcast, that's what I'm listening to, because I'm focused. I can focus with that. Octopath's great. The makers of Octopath is actually coming out with Bravely Default 2, and the Bravely Default series was also the team that made the Bravely Default series that was on the Nintendo DS or the 3DS, and those games were great as well. Octopath Traveler, I didn't pick up until this year, because I got my Switch in February, so it would have been this year when I picked it up. And you're playing 8 characters, which sometimes can get a little bit overwhelming. To pick who you want, because you can have 4 characters in your party at a time, so to choose who you want, who you don't want, and who works with us together, and what jobs they have, and what extra jobs they have, and things of that nature, it's kind of weird. But if you're an RPG fan, RPG fanatic, and you like turn-based system, I love the game. I love the way the game looks. I love that they have that 16-bit or 32-bit look to it. I love that. I just love the way it plays. It gets hard at times. That game gets really hard at times, actually. But it's a wonderful game, man. I loved every single bit of it.
Yeah, I agree with you with the whole, like, once you get your, like, 6th or 7th character, somewhere between 6th and 8th character, it does get a little overwhelming to try to complete those quests and who you need and all. But overall, it's a damn decent game, and I was super surprised at how much I really enjoyed it. Because I was just expecting it to be, it's like an old school RPG. I'll play it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it turned out to be really great story and
Not
super
at all.
fun.
Yeah.
So, Odyssey?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Guess what? It's Assassin's Creed in Greece.
In Greece.
In Greece.
It's basically Assassin's Creed Origins, but in Greece. But they did do a lot of stuff better in this one. Like the game is a blast. Like it wasn't talked about in Game of the Year talks for no reason. Like if Assassin's Creed Odyssey would not have came out in a year where God of War was there or Red Dead 2 was there, it probably would have won it. Like the game was amazing.
I still have a picture on my phone of me where I climbed up one of those giant statues, those crazy Greek statues, and I was hanging off the penis of one of the statues. I think I sent it to you. And I just dangling there, holding on to it, and there was a lot of cool elements to it. It had a good story. It's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's just more Assassin's Creed, but with a great story. Like the game is great. I mean, it's hard to not talk about these games when they're so well talked about, and we love like Assassin's Creed is hard not to be talked about anyway because nowadays they're putting so much polish into these Assassin's Creed games, and they're so good. And all they're doing is moving it to a different time and to a different place, which is great. I think that's awesome. I don't like the same place every time, moving it to a different time frame. You had 4, which was in back in the pirate days. Then you had you have Syndicate back in the early London days, which probably early World War II, like 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s. Then you had Origins, which is back in Odyssey. You had Unity wasn't that great, but you had Unity over in Paris. Then you had but thank God they made Unity, because now they're rebuilding Notre Dame. They're the person that was in there taking pictures of Notre Dame and all that's helping them rebuild Notre Dame, which is great. And then Origins, of course, in Greece.
I really like the war system too. Like you help them fight the war against the Romans.
Yes,
or whatever.
I did like that system in Syndicate.
Changed the tide.
That was in Syndicate. Yes, I did like that system a lot, actually.
It was a really cool system.
It was. I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, got to save the best for last.
There's nothing to be said about this game that we haven't already said.
Yep. Game is... I will discuss this later, but God of War is God of War.
That beginning when you're fighting, I think you're fighting Loki, or who are you fighting?
You're fighting Baldur. His name's Baldur.
Yeah, and Baldur. Who just sells you right there. And then the whole father-son thing, obviously.
Like I've talked about this multiple times. It's my favorite game of all time, and it's moved. And it's really weird because not Assassin's Creed, but Final Fantasy VII was there for so long, and as my favorite game of all time, and to go ahead of that after almost 20 years is saying something, and it did something to me, man, and I still can't tell you to this day what it did to me, but I love that fucking game. Like, it's, besides the fact of, like, it's when I became a dad and teaching me different parts of how to become a dad, and doing better things for my kids, and seeing Kratos grow. If Kratos can grow, I can do it too. Let me grow with him, and let me do this, let me do that. And it was a wonderful thing to do, dude. I love that game. The game brought me to tears a couple times. Like, I loved it.
The whole, like, mechanics with the axe and shit, and all the abilities that you had and learned throughout the game, super fun. I loved getting a new ability to throw the fucking axe or whatever.
The fact that they let you get the Blades of Chaos in this again was great, because getting the Blades of Chaos was a big thing, and I mean, you kind of had to in that game. The Blades of Chaos are known, so you kind of have to get them. But the Blades of Chaos were probably my funnest part of that whole game.
True story.
So we've kind of been... We'll get into 2019. We don't really have to talk much about 2019 because we've already kind of told of our game of the years and stuff. So we'll just run back through our stuff for you guys. So John, go ahead and give us your top 5. I guess give us 4 and give us your game of the year for this year.
give us 4.
So give me the 4 games that you had, and then give me so tell me your game of the year, and then tell me the rest of the 4 games.
So it was kind of a tie between Last of Us and Resident Evil 7.
No, I'm talking about 2019.
Oh, 2019. I'm sorry. Would you mind go ahead and doing that? Because I'm.
Oh, well, yeah.
I didn't write it down on my thing.
Yeah, 2019. So 2019, my game of the year was Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've talked about this game multiple times. I've had a blast with it. Put about 82 hours into 83 hours in my first playthrough, which is a lot of time. Then I moved on to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, A Plague Tale Innocence, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new one, 2019, and Control. Control was actually ADHD Gamer, mine and Jonathan's Game of the Year cumulative. That was our Game of the Year for this year.
I did Resident Evil 2 as my Control, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Gears 5, and Apex Legends. That's what I did. Awesome.
Okay. So we're gonna move on, guys, to our Game of the Decade. Game of the Decade, John. What was your Game of the Decade? So 10 years. I spoiled it. Yeah, you kind of did, but it's okay. Say it again.
So I was stuck between Last of Us and 7. Last of Us supersedes it just because of the fucking great story engaging is. So I will stick with Last of Us with being a close second.
Okay. My Game of the Decade is God of War. God of War is kind of hard to beat. I've talked about it being my favorite game of all time, and it came out this decade. The game is amazing. It's kind of hard to beat that. Yeah, man. All right, well, John, if you're ready, I guess we probably need to go ahead and end up this episode so we can go ahead and hop into our last episode of the Podalorian. So guys, remember, you can check us out. If you like this episode, please let us know. You can check us out everywhere. Facebook.com/ADHD Gamer Podcast, YouTube.com/ADHD Gamer Podcast, and also check us out on Instagram at ADHD Gamer Podcast. Check us out everywhere for audio listening needs, everywhere you need for podcast reasons. And guys, want to thank you for listening, thank you for watching, thank you for this year. Somehow, even though we don't have a lot of listeners, we've only got a couple of you guys. Somehow we have not gave up yet, and even though there was a couple times, we have not gave up yet. But we have made it through the year, and we are almost through the new year. We are almost to 2020, and we have been doing this for almost a year now, and it's been really fun. So thank you guys, and so John, you got anything to say to the people before we go?
No, I'm just really grateful for the people that do listen. Even though we're not really doing it for you, we're kind of doing it for our own sanity, but we really do like that we have people that appreciate us. And thank you for listening. Hopefully we can get some more out there and let people enjoy our talking.
Yes, please. I mean, please tell your friend. I mean, tell your friends, tell your people, tell anybody at your work. Anybody that just loves games, video games. I mean, just tell them. I mean, I listen to probably close to 100 hours of podcasts a week, and I listen to a bunch of people talking every week, and it's just it's something I enjoy. So if you enjoy that, please tell your friends and stuff. But guys, we want to go ahead and let you go. We want to thank you again for listening. Thank you again for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. I guess you're not watching because this is all audio, but thank you very much, and make sure to check out our other show, also the Podalorian, which is our Mandalorian spoiler cast, which we're going to go ahead and record in about 10 minutes. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful night and a wonderful new year. Please be safe.
See you later, ADHD gamers.
Peace.